Today's topic of conversation, removing the limitations to scaling your business. So if you are a solopreneur that is trying to break through that glass ceiling that's holding you back from taking your personal brand to the next level, stay tuned. I went 5.5 years or so, maybe even 6 years, and I just was a one-man band, churn and burn graphic designer, and I got burnt out, right? Yep. And then I finally meet Russell Brunson, and Russell Brunson tells me, dude, you got to replace yourself. What are you doing? You're killing yourself. Like, it's time for you to become CEO now. Like, what are you waiting for? But my biggest fear was not hiring the right people. My biggest fear was not knowing what to do with them once they are hired. Well, it's scary because you're saying to yourself, listen, I finally figured it out. I got momentum. I'm going to keep it going. And they drive 80 miles an hour into a brick wall because they realize they get to a point and they're like, oh, I can't do this all on my own. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, now I'm stuck. Now I got a whole nother set of problems. What do I do? You know, when I was scaling my business, I asked myself a few questions, and those questions were, what are the things I don't like doing? What are the things I can't do? And what are the things I shouldn't be doing? And when you ask yourself those three questions, you start to get this clarity coming over you, and you're like, I start to feel it. I'm getting it. I know the lane that I need to stay in. You know, one of my brand accelerator clients, Dom Fawcett, you know, he was trying to do everything, and he's like the least techiest guy you ever meet. And so him going into ClickFunnels and trying to play around in there was like nails to a chalkboard. And then he finally said, listen, we're just going to delegate that all out to your team. And I need to be out there on stage. I need to be out there engaging with my audience. I need to be out there speaking. I am a speaker, you know, so I have no business being in ClickFunnels. So that's just one example, right, of things you shouldn't do, things you don't like to do, or things that you can't do. Right? The last thing you want to be doing is your books when you hate numbers. And, you know, every time I touch my QuickBooks, it basically starts to smoke. So I don't even touch my QuickBooks anymore. And there's a bookkeeper. She's $2,500 for the year. How much time and aggravation is that going to save you when you delegate that out? So, you know, I went through that process. It sucked. I had to document everything, and you know, it took about 90 days to execute these processes, and it was like torture. And then I finally was like, all right, now I see the value in this, because that was 5 years ago, and my business is doing way bigger numbers than I could ever imagine due to those systems. So there's great value behind it. You just got to have the patience. I don't know one business out there that is doing 6 figures a month that doesn't have a solid process that takes a client from conception or onboarding through the execution phase to the completion phase. You know, we use Basecamp, right? We use Basecamp. There's tons of different softwares out there like Trello and Asana and all these different platforms, project management platforms. We like Basecamp. It's super simple. You know, a monkey could use it. And we've developed systems inside of it that work really, really well, right? But I think one of the limitations that people have is this fear. Like, I have to give up control to get to where I want to be. And that's freaking scary to me. And I don't want to do it, because then I got to blame somebody, or nobody's going to be as good as me, right? And they play this hero. And I just say to myself, like, those guys, you know, and gals, until they get their mindset shifted, and you're never going to find a rich hermit, right? That was an old Jim Rohn quote. But like, it's impossible to do this by yourself. So if you're not leveraging other people's resources and you're not allocating your resources properly, you will continue to make those $10,000 months, and if you're not happy with that, that's going to be purgatory for you. So, you know, I really want to push you guys and challenge you guys to think, how bad do I want it? You got to set boundaries. You know, what are your non-negotiables? And if it's working on Saturdays and that's part of the workflow, like, I would seriously reconsider that focus on exactly where we want to go, and then work backwards in getting it. I think we're so quick to get the next best thing. We want the next best thing. We want to, this guy's doing that. We should do that. Like we're jumping around and it's just setting us back. You know, one of the things I've learned was I'm not a professional marketer like Russell Brunson. Like I don't have the capacity in my brain to come up with different offers every single month, right? Like different offers, right? Coming up with this one and that one. Like I want my core 4 and I want to market the shit out of those 4 things, right? So why don't we get focused and super clear on what those 4 things are, how they deliver the most value to my audience, and what levels does each one of those offers serve, and make the best freaking offers we possibly can. I want to get into the questions from the communities. The question is, how can we get to know our ideal audience better? So how do we know what to offer? Why do we scale in the first place, right? Because we want to make a bigger impact. We want to be recognized as a go-to expert. We want to elevate our status. We want to do all these things, right? We want to help people genuinely. At least I hope you do, right? And that's why you're in business, right? But how do you do that? And so one of the things that helps me really, really well is the Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy was created in the 50s. And basically what it is, it's a system that helps teachers understand the level of understanding, if you will, of what they're teaching. So think of it like a pyramid, right? And at the bottom, the base of the pyramid, you have knowledge, and it's the simple knowledge, like terminology and the basics of your topic or your niche, right? And then one step above that is comprehension. You know, can your audience comprehend what it is that you're teaching? Can they actually digest it? Then the next level up from that, as the pyramid gets steeper, is application. Can they take and apply what it is that you are teaching and solve a problem with it, right? And then the next one is synthesis. So when you are creating all of this for them, I should say, right? Are they able to take all the pieces and put it together to make a whole? Can they synthesize the process, right? And then last but not least is evaluation. Can they make an educated decision based on what you taught them and go out there and make a difference or solve that problem that they're looking to solve? See, so my question to you guys is this: what level is your ideal audience at? And are you speaking to them on that level? Because it's easy to talk over people's heads, and it's also easy to talk too basic where you lose them because you're boring them. So really, really paying attention to this is going to help you understand your audience way better. And then what offers can you create that can serve those different levels of folks? The common limitations is just the fear of letting go. And I want people to really understand, I'm going through a transition period right now where I'm doing a lot of giving and there's nothing being received, and it's okay. Take some of the pointers that we talked about today and apply them. And, if you're looking for help, some more granular stuff in my Brand Yourself course, I have a whole module on building your team and really understanding what goes into that. I give away some valuable resources, and I basically map it out for you there. And which leads me to the next segment, which is basically telling all of you guys, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet and you're loving the value here, dude, you have to hit that subscribe button. And if you've been listening for a while and feel like giving back today, just head over to iTunes and write a quick little written review. That would be so appreciative, and I thank you up front for that. And then last but not least, go to the show notes of this episode, and you'll see digital resources, and you'll see a whole bunch of links there. You'll see the monthly coaching, you'll see the brand yourself course, and you'll see a personal brand training, which is absolutely free. The course and the monthly coaching obviously aren't. But for those folks that are looking for that blueprint to really, really build that strong, solid personal brand, and you're looking for that framework to really help you scale, I highly recommend the Brand Yourself course. It's one of those courses that basically I took 13 years of my entrepreneurial career and just laid it all out in a very clean and simple way so that you can take what I tell you and just execute it seamlessly and just watch yourself grow. So for those folks that are new, welcome. For those folks that are avid listeners and watchers, thank you so much again. Have it, guys. I will catch you on the next episode. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.